Hi, welcome to 7th video of the series, which is on middle office roles and responsibilities. In this video, we will cover the introduction about middle office, two categories as per roles and responsibilities of middle office, what are the activities which your trading support or trade assistants do, what are the roles and responsibilities of sales support, and other middle office functions. Now, what is middle office? Middle office department acts as a support function for the front office. Also, middle office acts as a bridge between the front office and back office teams. Middle office functions are usually bifurcated into two categories as per their roles and responsibilities. One is trade support or trade assistant, and the other is sales support or sales assistant. The roles and responsibilities of these roles will be discussed further. Now, coming to the roles and responsibilities of a trading support or a trade assistant. Trading support personnel will provide assistance to front office traders in below mentioned activities. Trade booking. Once an order is executed, the middle office person will look into the trade bookings. While trade booking, the middle office personnel will check if the booking information in the trade is correct, whether the accounts are correct, whether the counterparty information is correct, executing price is correct or not. If any discrepancy, the middle office personnel will raise that to the front office desk. Trade support team looks into trade allocation from desk side. So it may happen that the execution desk has executed an order for multiple sales desks. So trade allocation will happen as per the execution desk specifications and which trading support team will do. Trade support team assists in trade allocation for the front office desk. Whenever a trade is executed in the market, it may be a bulk order executed for a variety of funds. The client provides the allocation for all the funds in which that trade should be allocated. Trade support team will use that allocation and create multiple trades for that same. In case the execution desk has executed an order as a bulk order, then they will provide the information on how to split that trade to middle office, where the trade support team will get involved and split that bulk trade into different sale desk orders. Also, trade support team will look into if there are any new instruments or currencies which needs to be set up in the reference data team of the middle office. It may happen that a new symbol has come up in the market which is already available in front office systems on which they executed the orders, but that symbol may not be available in middle office systems. Trade support team will include reference data teams to get that symbol set up in the system so that the order can be created in the middle office systems as well. Other function that middle office team does is of sales support, where sales support team assists the sales desk, who is the client facing desk, in their various activities. Whenever a new client is onboarded into a business, sales support team assists the front office in setting up that client into the system. They will check whether the client statics are correctly set up or not, and if there are other legal formalities completed for that client or not. Legal formalities like which country the client is able to trade, which currencies he is able to trade, and what kind of instruments client has agreed to be traded on. As the client is successfully onboarded into the business, sales support team will look into client account setup in all the internal systems. So from front office systems till the back office systems, if that client account is set up or do there needs to be any changes or not. Middle office teams looks into validation of a trade. As the name itself suggests, they look into whether the trade is valid to go into the market or not. For example, whether the client level information is correct on that trade or not, and other economic parameters or economic details are valid on that trade or not. For example, if whether the currency mentioned on that trade is valid to be traded in that particular symbol and that particular market or not. Middle office teams look into trade formation, where when a trade is allocated as per client provided allocations, these allocations are then sent to client and a confirmation is received whether the allocations are correct as per client's information or not. There are some applications like Omgio's CTM, Central Trade Manager, where the broker team can upload their allocations onto that application, and client can also upload their allocations, and if that is matched, the trade is called affirmed on that case. Middle office teams also look into the static reference data setups, like whenever a new security is created, an IPO is issued, middle office teams will be responsible for the setup in middle office and back office systems for that symbol. Also, whenever a client is onboarded, middle office teams will have to look into the client acronym setups and client account setup and to validate if those setups are correct or not. Middle office teams are also responsible for confirmation management. So whenever a trade is executed and is finally booked in middle office systems, a confirmation needs to be generated and sent to the counterparty, which will contain the standard settlement instructions of our side and the standard settlement instructions of the counterparty on which the trade is going to settle in market. Middle office team will look into the static setup for these confirmation managements as well, like the email ID of the counterparty, what is the fax number where they need to send the confirmation, and things like that. A trade confirmation will contain trade related information for the counterparties to agree upon. Information like economic information of the trade, what is the symbol or what is the security that is agreed to be traded, what is the price on which it has been agreed, and what is the net value of the trade. Apart from that, the confirmation also contains the legal binding agreement which both parties have to agree. Usually, a trade confirmation will contain a line which says that if the counterparty does not respond back within few days, let's say 10 or 15 days, that confirmation is supposed to be agreed upon. If the counterparty thinks that there is a discrepancy, they need to raise it as soon as possible. Middle office also assists to resolve the issues of back office. In case the back office team comes back with some issue on a trade saying that there is a quantity mismatch with the counterparty, or whether there is a price mismatch or counterparty does not recognize the trade, middle office teams are responsible to look for valid information to provide to back office teams, or they can speak with the front office traders on whether the information at their end is correct or not. There is a trade reconciliation at middle office level as well, where middle office teams are responsible to look into all the open trades, find what are the issues with those trades, and try to get those settled as soon as possible. So they can chase back office teams in case they find that some trade is not settling and it has already passed its due settlement date or due settlement plus some days, and try to resolve all the issues. Also, they also do position level reconciliation with the front office systems or other reference data position systems.
We have come to the end of this video. So if you like our video, don't forget to share. You can also subscribe our YouTube channel, which is Capital Markets Easy, or you can drop us your queries on our email, that is capitalmarketseasy@gmail.com. No spaces, please. Hope you like these videos. Keep on sending back your queries. Thank you.